What's up, everyone? Obviously, some big breaking news today. So, this was going to be a post-mortem type of video. I was planning to do it, a couple days after they were eliminated. Wanted everything to marinate and was going to make a video about what's going to happen next. How does this team move forward with Thibodeau as coach? What kind of moves do they make? Do they just add to the bench? Do they make a big move? And today, that changed this video because Thibodeau is no longer the head coach of the New York Knicks. Um, what can you say? I think it's the right move, but a surprising move. I did not think after they made the Easter Conference Finals that Leon Rose would make that decision. I did not think that he would pull the trigger on that because he could say, well, we made the Easter Conference Finals, let's give him another year. And you could say that in every series there was a moment where like this coach needs to go. First round, that series easily could have won 7 games. Then they beat Boston. You could say after game 3, everyone was like, "This coach isn't gonna do it. It's terrible." And then obviously the Pacers series, game 1, game 2, game 4, game 6. Now, like I said, I think it's the right decision, but it's a surprising decision. And I think we need to start the video by saying thank you to Tibbs because when he came to this team was nothing. We were coming off the COVID year. Well, yes, the shortened COVID year where the Knicks had 4 power forwards that they signed. The roster was a mess. Fizdale got fired. Steve Mills got fired. And then Leon Rose got hired. And Leon Rose's first move was hiring Tom Thibodeau. And I think when it happened, nobody was surprised by it. He was the overwhelming favorite to be the head coach. And I think it was long overdue for him to be the coach of the Knicks. Now, everyone said the same thing. He's going to raise the floor, but he has a ceiling. There's going to be a time where we're going to have to move on from him. But I think he was the right coach at the right time. That first year, he took a team, turned Julius Randle into an All NBA player, and took a team with Elfrid Payton starting, Reggie Bullock starting, a young RJ Barrett starting, and Nerlens Noel starting. And he took them to the 4th seed of the playoffs. Now, the playoffs were disappointing, but that was the best coaching job of any coach to ever coach the Knicks for what he did that year. Then the next year, it was awful. I think Leon Rose made wrong decisions. Thibodeau made wrong decisions, and it was just an awful year. Then they got Jalen Brunson, and the team started out slow. Then they started playing the younger players, and the team was Brunson's, and they went to the second round. Lost disappointingly to the Heat, but they went to the second round. Next year, second round again. Good season, 50 wins, but injuries killed them. They lost the second round. And now this year, expectations galore. Eastern Conference Finals, 51 wins. But it kind of felt like, all right, where do we go from here? Now, it's the first year of this core, but I think it got to a point where the thought was Tibbs took it to as far as he could go. But I'll say this about Tibbs before we get into the negative stuff and we get into who's next and all that stuff. Tibbs changed this team. Obviously, Leon Rose made the moves and all that stuff, but Tibbs changed the culture of this team. He turned this team from a laughing stock to a hard-working, hard-nosed team that's going to beat on you every night to a legit title contender. And I think Tibbs deserves a lot of credit for that turnaround. Do I think it'll happen next year? No. Year after that, maybe. But when he comes back to the Garden and he's sitting with all the alumni, he deserves a standing ovation. There was disappointments, there was bad decisions, stubbornness, and all that stuff. We'll get into all that. But for right now, we say thank you to Tibbs because Tibbs deserves it. He deserves that standing ovation next time he's in the Garden. And I don't think he should be afraid to come to the Garden. I don't think there should be any bad blood. No. Now, the reason was why this move was made. I think Tibbs kind of dug his own grave. And I say that because his stubbornness directly cost them games in the playoffs. You can go back to Detroit series. You can go back to the Boston series, 2 games they lost. You can go back and then you go to the Pacers series, which I think is what ultimately got him fired. But Tibbs was a very set in his ways coach. You could tell he goes into it. He is the ultimate planner, gets the right game plan going into a game. He can game plan the crap out of you in between games. But as soon as the game starts, it's like he forgets what he's doing. He doesn't adjust. There's no in-game adjustments, nothing. He doesn't change his rotation. He has a pre-planned rotation every game. You know, you can call it out. You can call out the rotation before the game. And that's what it does. That's all he does. He is a terrible in-game coach. He is a fantastic get his team ready type of coach. But once the game starts, he gets outclassed by other coaches. He doesn't make adjustments. And that's ultimately is his downfall. He relies on his guys to a fault. No matter what, no matter how they're playing. And we'll go over each individual mistakes that he made. But his biggest one is Josh Hart. He has a blind spot when it comes to Josh Hart. No matter what, Josh Hart's playing 35 to 38 minutes. No matter what. Last year, it was necessary because there were so many injuries. This year, it was not. And since January, the offense was terrible with the starting unit. Terrible. Defense wasn't much better, but the offense, there's no reason why it should have been that bad. And his refusal to even try Deuce McBride with the starting lineups, they played 86 possessions together, and they were a plus 14. 86 possessions all year. He played 5 out, I think 180 possessions, and they were a plus 15. But he didn't do it. Even when he made the change to Mitch in the starting lineup. Mitch played the first 12 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, of the first quarter, and then he never go back to it. Josh Hart would play the rest of the half. Every time, no matter what Mitch was doing. He had a blind spot for Josh Hart. Now, this isn't to put all the blame on Josh Hart for the Pacers series. But Josh Hart was not very good. Yet he was still playing 35 minutes a night. Why? Why? DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet would come off the bench and play hard defense. They would go on a run with the team. The Knicks would go on a run. And Thibs would take them out, bring in Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, and the team would fall flat on their face. The one thing you couldn't do against the Pacers was turn the ball over. And what did Josh Hart do? Turn the ball over. But did Thibs adjust? No. That's ultimately his downfall. Game 1 of that series. Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson were dominating that game defensively. What's he do? He takes them out. The defense falls to shit, and they lose. You can go back all over the years of him being stubborn. The first year, Elfrid Payton starting every single game. Why? He was awful. He'd come out of the game. Knicks would be down 10. He'd get out of the game, and the Knicks would go on like a 35-10 run every time. His stubbornness got him fired. And would anybody have said otherwise if they were like, "We're going to go run with Thibs one more year"? No, nobody would have said anything. But the problem is, Tibbs would have done the same stuff. He would have gone through the same stuff. And at the end of the year, it would have been a waste of a year. So I commend Leon for making this decision because I know it wasn't easy for him. It was like firing his best friend. But it's the right move. I am I'm grateful for Tibbs, but it was the right move. Now you have to wonder, why make this move now? And especially after Jalen Brunson was very adamant about him coming back. So you have to wonder, did they consult Jalen Brunson with this? My guess is yes. My guess is Leon gave him the heads up. My guess is he was consulted. I believe Begley said that they did exit interviews with some of the players. My guess those players were Josh Hart, OG, Mikal, Cat, and Brunson. And my guess is Brunson had a say in this. Now, do I think he said fire Tibbs? No. But I think he said, okay, I get it. I get why. Now, do I think the others said, no, I love Tibbs? No. I think Mikel's happy. I think Hart's mad because, I think Cat's 50-50. I think OG's kind of 50-50. I think a lot of the bench guys are happy. I think some of the young guys are happy. Now, I don't think they even had a say, but you know what I mean. Um, Other reasons. Could we talk about what's coming up with the offseason? There's a couple big names out there. Do you think that Leon Rose, with all of his connections, went to the back channels and said, hey, are you guys interested in New York? And they said, well, we like the team, but we're not sure about Tibbs. Could that be an influence on their decision? Is that something Dolan looked at? Because Dolan had a say in here. I don't want to say it was all Leon Rose. I don't think Dolan forced Leon Rose's hand. Absolutely not. But Dolan had a say in this. He's eating $30 million, so he had a say in this. Could that have played a role? If you're a bench player in the NBA and you're looking at where you want to go play, why would you go to the Knicks if Tibbs is the coach? You're never going to play. So could that could have played a role? I think Leon probably looked at that and was like, "Are we going to have trouble filling out our bench?" So I think that's something to look at. Were Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson the only two players to advocate for Thibodeau? Do you think there was any other players that advocated for Thibodeau? Because I don't think any of the bench guys did. I don't think Deuce did. I think Deuce was mad about his role. I think Mitch was mad about his role. Any of the starters? I don't think Mikal did. I don't think Mikal was happy with how the season went. I think Towns probably wasn't very happy. I think there was times OG wasn't happy. So my guess is a lot of these players were like, if Tibbs is the coach, okay. But if you guys want to make a move, we're not going to be mad about it. I think ultimately Tibbs is who he is. He's a if you have a team that needs their floor raised, their culture fixed, you hire him. You know who could hire him? The Kings. The Kings could use him. But again, you hit a ceiling with Thibs. You just do. You can't rely on your starters for 40 minutes a night, every single night, and not make any adjustments. I just can't do it. I feel like, you know, people want to bury Thibs and stuff like that. I don't think I don't think this is about like Thibs just being a bad coach. I think it just ran its course. I just really do. It's crazy to say because they just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I just think it just ran its course. And I think a big part of it too is guys don't want to play for him. I mean, I think guys just they're afraid of what their role's going to be, especially bench guys. And I mean, there's big names out there. You know, we're going to hear rumors about Kevin Durant. We're going to hear rumors about Giannis. Do those guys want to play for Tibbs? Now we can start looking at who they're going to interview. I think Johnny Bryant's the number one name. He's the number one name for me. He's the number one name I think out there. Um, he was here for 4 years. Worldwide West was the guy that hired him to be on Tibbs' staff. It was not a Tibbs hire. It was Worldwide West. He left when Tibbs signed that extension. So that tells me I think he was the heir apparent. But when Tibbs signed that extension, he was like, I'm probably not going to get this job. I think the timing of Tibbs being fired and how it feels a little rushed. It does. There was a report earlier today, maybe yesterday, where Johnny Bryant's one of the top two candidates for Phoenix. So I think that's part of it. I don't think Malone's a option. He's a Tib he's a Tibbs clone. He won a championship with Jokic, but he's a Tibbs clone. He plays his starters big minutes. He's gonna rely on his starters. He's not gonna rely on his bench. That's just the way it is. Um, I'm not interested in Taylor Jenkins. I think he's a good coach, but meh. I don't think he's that much of an upgrade over Tibbs, if anything. Budenholzer's the name out there. Meh. Vogel, no. The name that interests me is Johnny Bryant because he's a young coach. Think he's offensive minded, more offensive minded. There's a video out there. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it up. There's a 6 minute video of him talking about spreading out the offense without shooters. Like if you don't have a shooter, how do you spread out a defense? And it's a whole video about how he would spread out a defense even if he didn't have shooters. I think he can come in and have respect of the locker room because he's been here. I think he has respect of Brunson, who any coach you hire has to have respect of Brunson. Besides Bryant, I think in the dream world, Eric Spoelstra becomes available. If Spoelstra became available, you throw whatever you can at him and hire him. He's the best coach in the NBA, bar none. Um, Another name, sneaky name. I don't know if he becomes available. I don't know how happy he is in his current situation because of the GM being a moron. But that's Jason Kidd. Now, if everyone remembers, Jason Kidd was second to Tibbs, and the talk was that he impressed Leon Rose so much in his interview that he was thinking about hiring Jason Kidd instead of Tom Thibodeau. So I would keep an eye on that. I don't know how quickly the Knicks move. There's talk that Kevin Durant is going to be traded before the draft. So if they are in on Kevin Durant, do they want to have a coach before that? possible because I think the Knicks, Shams had a report, the Knicks are going to be aggressive. And I think this move of firing Tibbs just proves that Rose is not going to sit back and say, meh, let's just run it back. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to go swinging. And if there's a move out there where he can swing, he's going to swing. It's just the way it is. I think this proves that because he fired one of his best friends and he didn't have to. He did not have to. So I expect a very busy offseason. I think you're going to see my face making videos a lot talking about this offseason. Um, Obviously, we'll make videos every time there's some rumors on which coach, trades, free agents, and all that stuff. Good thing about playing it into the beginning of June, not that long until the offseason starts. You got about 3 weeks until the draft. There's going to be some stuff out there. And I expect the finals to be a sweep, so we can start real quick. Final thoughts. Shocked. I don't want to say happy. I am. I I think it was the right move. I wanted Tibbs fired. I hate saying that because he did do such a great job, but I mean, I think a lot of the talent on this team masked a lot of Tibbs' deficiencies. I mean, we can go over a lot of stuff. I mean, you can go over his lineups, his, I mean, even his defensive game plans. Always playing drop. It just never worked. Always giving up so many threes. It's just, even before, even last year, they gave up a ton of threes. It's just, it just sucks because it felt like you have a coach because you're coming off the Eastern Conference Finals, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting to have a new coach. I think they're gonna have a young coach. I don't think they're gonna go for a retread. I really don't. I don't think they're gonna go Mike Malone. I think CP has been saying a lot that there's no interest there. And I believe there was another report. I forget who said that there was. Oh, Stefan Bondi said there's no interest in Malone. So I think everything leads to Johnny Bryant. I think that's gonna be your next coach, and it's a little scary. And you know, Leon Rose made a bold move, and I commend him for that. I commend him for making that move. But he's got to get this right now. We can't forget this. Leon Rose has got to get this hire correct because he's opening himself up now for a lot of criticism. Because he's firing a very successful coach. Knicks have been very successful. He did not have to fire Tibbs, so this will open him up to criticism. And one last thing, you see Mad Dog Russo talking about Dolan did this and it was all Dolan and Dolan this and Dolan that. Don't listen to like stupid New York media talking about Dolan. They do this all the time. When they don't like a move, they blame Dolan. It's not Dolan. Do you really think an a power agent like Leon Rose is going to be pushed around by James Dolan? If Leon Rose did not want to fire Tom Thibodeau, he would not have fired Tom Thibodeau. And if James Dolan said, if you don't fire him, I'm going to, then Leon Rose would have walked away and went back to making a crap ton of money being an agent. That simple. Because fact of the matter is, Leon Rose is taking a discount being the president of the Knicks. So I'm sorry to everybody who wants to bring back Dolan's name. This was not James Dolan. This was Leon Rose. The only reason James Dolan is involved is because there was $30 million that he had to eat. So he needed to approve it. That's it. The only reason. And that's how I'm going to end it. But you know what? No. I'm not going to end it on a negative note. I'm going to end it on thank you, Tibbs. Thank you for what you did for this team. You changed the culture of this team. And with that, we hope that you come back to the Garden, get your standing ovation, and say thank you from all the fans. Everyone have a good night. Next video will come up when we start getting some coaching rumors. I think it's going to happen fast. I do. So, if you have any thoughts, leave some comments, likes, subscribes. Everyone have a good night.